Hey guys, welcome to Innovative Learning. This is Professor Manish Narayan, and today we're going to be adding and subtracting integers. All right, I have a couple of tricks that if you apply them, you won't go wrong. All right, so let's start. We have two types of problems here. One is same sign and one is opposite sign. So let me explain what that means. So let's say I have, a simple 4 plus 2. All right. Now, if you look at the integers, they both have the same sign, right? You see a plus and a plus. Okay. So, and I'll show you how to evaluate these. Let's take another example of same sign, right? So if I have negative 7 minus 3, all right, notice both the 7 and 3, these integers, have the same sign. Both are negative. So when it comes to same sign, here's the trick. Just add the numbers. So 4 plus 2 is 6. And copy the same sign, which is positive. So answer is positive 6. Okay. Negative 7 minus 3. Again, they're the same sign. So add the numbers. So 7 plus 3 is 10. And then copy the sign, which is a negative. So the answer is negative 10. All right. So this trick always applies to same sign operations. All right, let's take an example of opposite sign. So for example, I have negative 4 plus 2. Okay, and maybe I have 7 minus 3. All right, so 7 really means positive 7, right? So again, these are opposite signs, right? This one, the 4 is a negative, the 2 is a positive. The 7 is a positive, the 3 is a negative. All right, so opposite sign, the trick is subtract the bigger or the smaller from the bigger. So 4 minus 2 is 2. And keep the sign of the larger number. So what's the larger number here? 4. So I just copy the sign over, the negative. Right? So answer is negative 2. Easy. So here's a step. In your mind, you say, oh, same sign or opposite sign? Okay, positive, negative, those are opposite signs. So I just take 7 minus 3, the larger minus the smaller, which is 4. And I copy the sign or use the sign of the larger number. So what's bigger? 7 is bigger than 3, so I take the sign next to 7, which is positive. So the answer is positive 4. And that makes sense. 7 minus 3 is 4. All right, so let's use this two tricks, right, to solve and evaluate these expressions here. Start with number 1, right? Now, when it comes to parentheses, we have to first eliminate the parentheses and then apply our approach, right? So look at the parentheses, a negative 2 here. If the outside, the sign next to the parentheses, for example, it's imaginary, but it's positive, okay? It's positive here. That means that you have a positive and a negative. You take it out, it comes out as a negative, okay? So we have a negative 2 plus 3, okay? So negative 2 plus 3. Now, these are opposite signs, right? Negative and positive. So what we do is we subtract. 3 minus 2 is 1. Bigger minus the smaller. And keep the sign of the larger number. So positive 1 is the answer. Again, positive 1, you can always write it as just 1. Okay. Next, we have negative 14. So I can just remove that parentheses and write it as negative 14. Okay, because outside's a plus here, right? A plus, and I'll get to this in the next video, but a plus times a negative, opposite signs, remember, become negative, okay, when you multiply them. So we'll get to that in the next video. But here, negative 14, I can eliminate the parentheses, and then plus, and you see this plus and a minus 7, right? This comes out as minus 7. Remember, opposite signs break off the parentheses as a negative number, okay? So negative 14 minus 7. Let's apply our approach. Both numbers have the same sign. So what do? I add them. 14 plus 7 is 21. And I just copy the sign. That's it. I just copy the same sign. So answer is negative 21. Let's move over to number 3. So I copy the 3 here. Now be careful here. I need to eliminate this parentheses. So that's a negative and negative. And a negative and negative, when you multiply them, they become a positive. Okay, so that becomes a positive 8. All right, so remember, when you multiply the same sign, it becomes positive, right? And you can always use this trick here. For example, a positive times a positive, a negative times a negative, positive times a negative, or a negative times a positive. Okay, so same sign, these guys come out as positive when you multiply them. And this set here, opposite signs, when you multiply them, come out as negative. So that's a trick to eliminate parentheses. So let's come back to this problem. A negative and negative make a positive here. So we have 3 plus 8. So remember, it's a positive 3 plus 8. What's our trick when adding integers? If they're the same sign, you just add the numbers. So 3 plus 8 is 11. And you copy the same sign. So positive 11. Or you can write it as 11. All right, number 4. Next to the parentheses, we have imaginary positive sign. So remember, positive and negative, break off the parentheses as a negative. So we have negative 9 plus 14. All right, let's apply our trick. Opposite signs means you subtract 14 minus 9, which is 5, and keep the sign of the larger number, which is 14. So I copy plus 5. So negative 9 plus 14 is positive 5. All right, let's move on to slightly advanced problems here. All right, remember, it looks advanced, but again, apply the pattern and it'll be easy, right? So on the first number, negative 11, we have a positive out here, imaginary positive. So that opposite signs, positive, negative, come out as negative 11. Be careful here, this negative and negative, remember, when you multiply them, become positive, 14, and finally plus 7. Okay, one step at a time, right? So look at the negative 11 and positive 14. Ignore the plus 7 for now. Negative 11, positive 14. Opposite signs, what do? Well, we subtract. So 14 minus 11 is 3. And keep the sign of the larger number, which is plus. 14 is bigger than 11. Copy the plus 7. Next step. Oh, now we have same sign, right? We're adding two numbers. So 3 plus 7 is 10. Add the numbers and copy the sign. Done. Positive 10 is the answer. Okay. Number 18. First, eliminate the parentheses. So we copy the 7. Positive and negative make a negative. So copy the negative 1. Copy the rest of it. 12 minus 7. All right. Now, this is straightforward, right? 7 minus 1. Again, 7 minus 1, there's imaginary positive. So when they're opposite signs here, positive 7 minus 1, you subtract, so 7 minus 1 is 6. Keep the sign of the larger number. All right, let's copy the rest of it. Remember, one step at a time. Okay, next we have positive 6 and positive 12. That's positive 18. Okay, same sign. We add them, copy the sign. It's positive 18. Okay, and minus 7. And finally, opposite signs, right? That means we subtract. 18 minus 7 is 11. And copy the sign of the larger number, which is 18. So the answer is positive 11. All right, number 19. Copy the 6. Negative and positive, break off the parentheses as negative 7. Positive and negative, break off the parentheses as negative 5. Negative and negative, break off the parentheses as positive 2. All right, now we begin. Positive 6 minus 7, opposite sign. I subtract 7 minus 6, which is 1. Keep the sign of the larger number, which is 7, so negative 1. All right, so remember, 6 minus 7 is negative 1. Copy the rest of the equation. All right, start with negative 1 now, minus 5. Same sign, yep, same sign. Add the numbers, so 1 plus 5 is 6. Copy the sign, don't forget, all right, because they're the same sign. Plus 2. And finally, negative 6, positive 2. These are opposite signs, so I subtract bigger minus smaller. 6 minus 2 is 4. And copy the sign of the larger number. So answer is negative 4. Perfect. Okay, lots of steps, but remember, you have to go one step at a time, and then you get faster and faster at it. All right, the last problem here is number 20. Again, eliminate the parentheses. I always like to write a positive here, imaginary plus. Positive and negative become negative 3 plus 5. I just copy that down. Positive and negative make it a negative 5 plus 12. Now let's apply our rules. Negative 3 plus 5, those are opposite signs. So what do? I subtract 5 minus 3 is 2. Keep the sign of the larger number, which is 5. Copy the rest of it. All right, so next step, plus 2 and minus 5. Opposite signs, right? So 5 minus 2 is 3, copy the sign of the larger number, and then copy the rest of the equation. Now it becomes easy, right? Opposite signs. 12 minus 3 is 9. Copy the sign of the larger number, which is 12. Answer is positive 9. All right, thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video.